Hi friends, this is Sharona. Welcome to Joyful Gardening. And yeah, even though it is already late November and it's not warm at all out here, it was 7 degrees today, 7 degrees Celsius. Most of the gardening has been done by now. I finished pruning, or just about. There's maybe a little bit more I can do. And weeding and mulching and all that. Finished harvesting by now, but there's still a lot that can be done to better our soil. It has a long period of rest and rejuvenation to go through during the coming winter. And I would like to take you along on a little tour of different areas of my garden and show you what I have done this year to help my garden so that next spring and summer it will have a much better soil. I've been doing this for a few years and I had seen a huge improvement in my soil. Basically, the soil in my neighborhood is clay, and I really can see how it is changing and becoming better and easier to work with every year. So I did collect from my neighbors many bags of leaves, of dried leaves. There were some bags that I found had black walnut leaves inside, and I packed those back up and put them at the curb. I will not put black walnut tree debris on my garden because they tend to have chemicals in them or something that this, or whatever there's made out of, that inhibits growth of many plants. So really not recommended to use that. There was also a bag filled with evergreen leaves. I packed that, and I could put those around the rhododendrons. The rhododendrons will love any cuttings or any branches and leaves that you take from juniper or from a spruce or from pine trees. And they love the acidic soil. So if you have that, definitely go and mulch that around your rhododendrons. And I also have a rhododendron that I grew from really, really tiny, and it's real big now. I've done that over the years. It worked fabulous. So that's another recommendation. But let's get on with the leaves. I'll show you what I did with all the leaves that I collected. This stuff is going to break down much quicker, much quicker, and give us amazing compost. If you can add some grass clippings in there, then that's great. So first of all, I took what I could from those mowed over leaves, and I stuffed them into 4 of these large garbage bags. I poked holes with my fingers. I wet it with a hose inside and I tied it. And I'm going to let this turn into leaf mold and decompose for next spring. So next spring I'll use that leaf mold to amend soil in my beds. That's the first thing that I wanted to do. What I did is I just mulched over this bed that I created. I had planted bulbs in here and I'm just going to let them go and poke through this mulch that I created. So it'll be perfect. And if I have space to put vegetables here and there in between, I'll do that too, because I like to mix the flowers and the vegetables together. So this is a real nice leaf mulch. Ooh. This is an area in the backyard where I have crocosmia planted. These are small bulbs. They grow a plant that has a sword-shaped leaf, and then it sends up a flower stalk, and it has beautiful red flowers growing all along the flower stalk. So I love this flower. It has an amazing effect on my backyard, and some people like to remove it like they do with their gladiolas. Remove it in the fall, replant them in the spring. I've had success with gladiolas too, even though I still remove some of them. Some of them I don't, and they still come up, but I cover everything. And these crocosmias are covered with straw, so they will be blanketed. I will remove this first thing in the spring and the beginning of April. I'll remove this. I have crocuses here and everything, so I don't want to bother them first thing in the spring. The crocosmia has been here for about 4 years now, and it does better and better every year. It actually fills in, and I have many new flower stalks every year. I have a growing clematis collection, and the clematis gets protection for the winter as well. I have one all the way under here and a big one over there that I never even cut down. So I always look forward to see my clematises come back. And with this, they have rest and I'm at peace as well. And there's a pile of leaves over here. They are covering a pruned rose bush. So this is an English rose. I cut it down and I just threw lots and lots of leaves, and with my hands I shoved them in between the branches. Again, I'll remove all those leaves come spring. And here in my front yard, I just allowed the wind to blow leaves from nearby trees and just cover this raised bed. I have different flowers in here, and it's fine to just have nature do the things like nature does, and it works the best. And here's what the wind did. It blew all the leaves under the into the barberry and underneath it, and that's fine. I like that. As well as covering the vulnerable plants for winter, we made sure to cover the outdoor faucets as well so that they won't freeze. This we bought at the Home Depot. It's really neat. It's a foam cover for outdoor faucets. Check it out. Sits flush into the wall. I almost forgot to show you, one of the first things I do with my leaves in the fall is I add them to my compost bin. So these are 3 compost bins that I got for real cheap through my municipality, and I really like them. They work great. Them being black helps the heat accumulate inside, and that helps the compost decompose. It also has some openings for air circulation, so it allows more oxygen to enter, which helps the decomposition as well. So what I do is I first empty these with ready-made compost that I've created throughout the summer, and I add those to the vegetable beds and let that fertilize the soil. So it's great to do in the fall because it just comes spring, your soil will be all prepared. And yeah, fall season is an awesome time to fertilize your soil and then let it sit there. Then when they're empty, what I'll do is I'll just pour the leaves inside, either if they're mowed over or they're just not mowed over and the leaves are just the way, you know, whole leaves. So that's fine, and I'll just pour them in there. And I also make sure to collect, stop by some Starbucks and a few of the busier cafes in town and collect the used coffee grinds. Yeah, as much coffee grinds as I can get my hands. Sometimes they'll just fill 5-gallon buckets for me, so I really like that. I'll just pour the coffee inside and mix it with the leaves and a little bit of kitchen scraps. So the coffee grinds, even though they're brown, they're actually considered to be greens. And the dried leaves are considered to be browns. So browns and greens is what you need in your compost bins to mix together or to layer or however you like to do it. So they help each other decompose, and it definitely completes your compost. So that will sit here and continue decomposing throughout the winter. Actually, even though it'd be freezing outside, the process of decomposition is still going to continue because as it decomposes, it creates heat inside, and that heat will help break it down throughout winter. And I should have excellent compost come spring when it's time to plant. In May here in my area, it's normally around May. By then I should have ready-made compost, so definitely going to be helping me a lot. I'll use it either to amend the soil or just put some in the hole when I'm planting. Easy, cheap, free, and quick to work. I recommend the coffee grinds because I found them to be a good accelerator for your compost, and they also bring tons and tons of worms. I'll have like lots and lots of worms, almost like a worm bin. So as well as putting the leaves down, I also did some research, and I found a few things that I'm going to add to the soil of my raised beds. I went with 4 different kinds, actually 5 different kinds of rock dust. I had already spread in there and worked into the soil some dolomitic lime, and as well as I have glacier rock dust. I have azomite, volcanic mineralizer called carbonatite, and the last one is food grade fossil shell flour, or by the other name diatomaceous earth. So this is very good, not only as a mineralizer, but also to prevent the slugs and other bad insects from getting anywhere near or thriving near your plants, because this is actually microscopic knives. This is very, very sharp for them, and it scratches their bodies and makes them dry out. So not that I want to hurt them, I just know that if they know that it's not good for them, they will not come anywhere near it, and they'll go live somewhere else. So that's what this is going to do, as well as it does have a whole bunch of minerals that will work in the soil. So each one of these rock dust has a whole slew of different minerals, and the only thing that I didn't get yet is the actual component that is going to make these minerals become available to the plants, that is going to process them. That is no less but mushroom spores. Mushroom spores is the one ingredient that I know where I'm going to get, and there is a local green supply shop that where I get all this stuff, and I know that I'm going to get quite a bit of it, and add mycorrhiza to the soil. The mycorrhiza actually grows throughout soil that's alive, every live soil, not dead soil, but live soil. And what it is, it's actually the spores or the roots or the actual bodies, the underground bodies of the mushrooms that you see above ground. And those are so important to liven up your soil, because they will process all of these minerals and make them available to the plants. So that's the next thing that I'm going to get. And because I know that these spores are going to work so well on these rock dust minerals and on all of the mulch and break just everything down so well, I'm going to add these, not now, I will add these early spring at the same time when I will add the mycorrhiza or the mushroom spores, and we'll see the results, and I'll show you all the results in the coming season. So I'm very happy to find these ways. These are my choice ways of tending to the soil, because I don't use any animal products. I don't use manure from animals unless I know that it's a pet that is raised with all the respect as we raise our children. Like, I do use my doggy's poo and put it in the compost bin. I would put my own too if I found a way that was comfortable for me, but I haven't found a way that is comfortable for me yet. And we don't use outhouses like they used to do in the old days. So with outhouses, they could move the outhouse to a different location and then, I guess, cover it and maybe plant there. I don't know how they used to do it. I wish I knew. I wish I had a chance to live in the 1800s or the 1700s or the 1600s or whatever for a little bit just to try it out. But I'm not sure how they did it. But yeah, my doggy poo goes sometimes when I feel like it into the compost bins or on the soil of my raspberry bushes. But other than that, there's no animal manure in my garden at all. There's no blood meal, there's no bone meal, many years already. So I like to find out how nature does it without using the animal industry, and how it's done in the woods, how it's done, how God does things. So and try and imitate that. So I've looked into it, and these are the things that I found that are going to work for me, and I'm super happy. So okay, I'm gonna go in and get warm right now. So thanks for being with me, everybody. If you have any comments, any questions at all, post them in the comments below, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And so looking forward to being with all of you in my next videos, where I'm going to get into some indoor stuff probably pretty soon, unless it gets really super beautiful out here, which it often does, and then I'll be out here with my camera even if it's that freezing. So have a happy I guess beginning of winter, everybody, and see y'all next time in the garden of some sort. Bye for now.